Hello, Brad here, just to say we're super proud that the Friday 5pm podcast is sponsored by the Malt Miller, the UK's best home brew store.
We use the Malt Miller for all of our homebrew experiments, as well as tapping them up for advice and binging on their awesome YouTube channel all the time.
That's why whenever we release a homebrew video, we put a recipe kit live on the Malt Miller, so you can brew with the exact same amazing ingredients that we did. The same ingredients used by pro brewers.
So alongside the Malt Miller's nitro-flushed hops, cold-stored yeast and milled-to-order malts, you can pick up recipe kits for our 5 Points Best Bitter, Russian River West Coast IPA, and now the fastest beer in the world, a hazy session IPA that goes from grain to glass in less than 48 hours.
Sign up to their newsletter at tinyurl.com/Malt Miller to get 5% off your first order. With the Malt Miller's amazing customer service and Johnny's 48-hour recipe, you could order the ingredients on a Monday and be drinking the beer by the weekend.
Speaking of which, it's Friday.
It's 5pm.
So enjoy this week's Friday 5pm podcast. Hey Beer Geeks, I am excited to tell you that this podcast comes to you direct from the bottom of the... underneath the bottom of the ocean. This might be a world first.
I'm not sure it's an ocean. I think it's the channel, isn't it? The English Channel. It's not technically an ocean.
It connects a sea and an ocean.
It does connect a sea
and
a bay and all sorts of stuff. We're not on a deep submarine. We are on a train.
We're deeper than that.
We're going deeper underground.
Yeah.
Like Jamiroquai.
Oh, okay.
In that shitty Godzilla film. Maybe his worst song he ever did, I think. It's pretty bad. Deeper underground.
Without going too deep into his oeuvre, yeah, it's pretty shocking.
I can't think of a worse one.
I'm struggling to think of a better one right now.
Space Cowboy's great.
Space Cowboy. Virtual Insanity. What's the one where he's in the room and the floor's moving?
Virtual Insanity.
Virtual Insanity, yeah.
Yeah.
It's the same one. Anyway, this is not a Jamiroquai podcast.
Sadly not.
Or a film podcast. Or
maybe sometime down the road we'll have a spin-off to Jamiroquai podcast.
Do you reckon, if he ever had a comeback, there will be podcasts launched as like, what happened to Jamiroquai? Where did he go? What did he do with his hats?
I think he's just bought lots of Ferraris and stuff, and probably hangs out with, what's his name? The guy that's the king of Twitter. You're beautiful. I reckon they hang out making...
Why do you think they hung out?
I reckon they hang out in Speedos together in Ibiza or something and just hang around like Club Tropicana vibes. Just probably singing Club Tropicana to each other with their beautiful voices. JK I always thought looked a little bit like kind of scruffy, ragamuffin, homeless sort of guy.
And James Blunt?
Well, he looks very prim and proper, doesn't he? He's got a nice sort of sensible haircut.
He's that ex-military man, isn't he?
He is.
Yeah.
He is.
So probably always clean-shaven.
Yeah.
Up at the crack of dawn.
Do you reckon he can grow a beard? I wonder what Blonty would look like with a beard.
No, he can grow a beard. I think I've seen some stubble on his album covers.
Oh wow! For the ladies, for the older
Gents.
ladies and the older gents, maybe younger gent.
Why do the older people?
I think older ladies like Blonty, I reckon.
Right. Caveat: we're both very tired and have drunk a lot of Belgian beer. This is why this is it's taken several twists and turns.
Yeah, and we've literally just gone into the darkness. We're inside Le Shuttle, which I keep calling Le Eurostar.
Yeah, well, you nearly took us to Paris at one point.
Yeah. I was up for going to Paris, but it didn't work out. That's the nice people that work on Le Shuttle just said hello, which is cool. So we're not sponsored by Le Shuttle, but if you want to sponsor us, we'd love to come back.
Should we get them to come back and have that discussion?
Yeah.
So we have been in Belgium, which for one will explain this conversation, but for two, it's not how you do that format, is it? We had no upload this week.
No, we've been a bit busy, haven't we, lately?
We have. We've had the festival, and we've had the Belgium trip, and we've had the 8 brews that we filmed for the festival, and I guess the admin of getting everything sorted. So things have been busy. We very nearly had an upload this week, and I was literally editing it this morning, and we shot the final scene. It's the first taste, first video of our brews, I think, and the first taste.
Yes.
But sadly, we realised we didn't have a thumbnail, and I hadn't really fixed the audio in the bits that had gone a bit wrong.
Yeah.
So we thought, you know what, we'll wait for next week and make it perfect.
But we did get to film it in the incredibly plush breweries Huis, or whatever it's called.
Yeah.
At St Bernardus.
I think it was just the guest house.
Yeah, but it's the old breweries guy's house, isn't it?
Yeah.
Supposedly.
Yeah, Guy.
Pretty nice.
Guy Klaus or Klaus Guy.
Some guy
One of
called
those guys
Klaus.
with two first names that always confuses journalists that don't have good attention to detail like me.
Yeah, that was amazing. St Bernardus was amazing.
Great guest house. Well, yeah, this is the. I mean, the guest house was fine. It was all about the incredible brewery with perhaps. Brad is trying to fix Le Shuttle right now because there's a shaky bit of tin steel. Do you know what? He's done an alright job at fixing the shuttle. He's literally moving stainless steel with his sandaled shoes right now. So he fixed it and now you've moved it back. Now it's squeaking instead of slapping.
Well, I didn't say it'd be perfect, Johnny.
He didn't say anything, he just walked off.
I think that one's contributing it as well, isn't it?
Right, okay.
We've chosen a very inhospitable area to do a podcast in.
Well, when I suggested this, I thought we'd be sat in the car with the windows closed
right.
so that the audio would be good.
We didn't plan it being like 40 degrees though.
Well, no, we didn't, and that could be said for the entire trip. But it did mean that the roof terrace of St Bernardus was just the most idyllic, incredible place. I mean, too hot to sit out
in the shade.
It was great to either be in the shade or be in the aircon, looking out on it.
Yeah, it was nice to look at the bits that were in the sun.
Yeah.
From the shade.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that was really great.
To look at what you could be enjoying if it were 10 degrees cooler.
Yeah. It was beautiful.
So yeah, St Bernardus is a brewery that we've always loved. We've done quite a few videos that featured their beer. And we saw the opportunities. So I've come over, I needed to come over to Belgium to do some book research and to work on an article for Belgian Smack and the great Brendan Kearney. And Brad agreed to drive, so massive props to Brad.
Yeah, you basically told me you were going to try and get buses around, and then there was someone random that was saying they could give you a lift somewhere.
Yeah, some axe murderer was like, I'll probably kill you at the end, but you'll get your photos done.
Yeah, which I'm sure would have worked out great.
Yeah.
But, we went to some quite out of the way places, so it would have been quite difficult, I think.
Well, yeah, so when I was looking up the bus to West-Vlaanderen, which we went to today, it said, like, get to Poperinge, 2 trains from Brussels, and then it said, get the bus. And I was like, oh, sweet, there's a bus that goes by. The bus took you 10 minutes out of the town.
Nice.
And then you had to walk for half an hour.
Yeah, not great. And it's so hot that there's, like, heat haze.
Yeah.
So you would have died, I reckon, probably, just trying to get to a brewery.
I don't think I'd have died. I'd have just arrived sweaty.
2 strapped with 2 backpacks.
I mean, I'd have packed lighter.
Maybe.
If you weren't coming, because I wouldn't have made a film at St Bernardus.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, so St Bernardus, also the brewery tour was without doubt the most thoughtful, considered and interactive brewery tour I've ever been on. You get headphones, that's always a good sign.
They're headphones, but they're not like any headphones I've put on before. They're very hygienic headphones.
Yeah, it didn't touch your ears.
They don't touch your ears. They're like a band that goes over your head. Fair enough. And then they kind of like go away from your head a bit, and they're sort of sculpted in a cool shape, and they just project the noise into your ears. Worked quite well.
It worked really well until you got to the noisy parts of the brewery.
Yeah, it didn't work so well then.
But there was lots of interactive stuff, lots of great history. We learned so much about the brewery that you'll be learning in a video we're going to do, which will be our Trappist episode all about West-Vlaanderen.
Yes.
So we now have secured the 3 beers, and indeed a case of one of them for our festival. So we did the whole pickup thing, which was super weird. Like, they've got a purpose-built building that you have to drive up to. Like
it's a drive-through.
A drive-through Trappist beer.
With a really miserable,
grumpy man serving you.
He said, what did he say to you?
I think the only explanation could be that he was trying to get my attention and didn't know what language. So eventually he was just sort of like, hello, oi, hello, what language? And I was like, oh, sorry, English. And he's like, well, if you don't say anything, I won't know. Like, well, I didn't realise I had to say something.
He obviously didn't clock you as a Belgian. I reckon we're too short to be Belgian.
Are the Belgians tall?
They're tall. They're do you not find them tall? I think they're quite tall.
Not especially.
They're not as tall as the Dutch, maybe, but they're basically pretty
It's strange
similar,
because
aren't
it's
they?
the lowlands.
With the tall folks.
Yeah, I'd have thought that more hilly places would breed taller people. Or maybe you can just see further if you're higher because it's flat and you get an extra foot. You can see like an extra mile.
Aren't Sherpas like famously short? The guys that are in Himalayas that go up, help all the rich American and English.
I've never thought about their height.
Brave mountain climbers climb up and they carry all their shit for them. I think they're like quite short people. Isn't there some? There's probably something to do with the oxygenation of the blood at altitude.
Hair being thinner.
I think because we're at such a low altitude, you can grow like a beanstalk.
Right. Okay.
Really tall.
That's a theory.
And that's what I'm sticking to.
Right. Okay.
I reckon that's right.
Well, there you go.
Low altitude, tall people.
Now you know. I mean, I've been trying to keep this on the St Bernardus track. The tour. The tour was great. You should do the tour. There's a great guest house with an honesty box where you could just help yourself the beer. The brewery itself was stunning, state of the art, and then the roof terrace looking out over the hop fields of Poplinger. Beautiful beer, lovely food. Had a great sharing meat and cheese platter.
It was great. It was great. Had some.
It has to be. If you're in Belgium, it has to. I would say it has to be number one on your list.
Well, you got to go to Bruges or.
I mean, there's a brewery.
Oh,
that you
as
have
a
to
brewery,
visit.
right?
It's got to be that. Over all of the lambic places I've been.
Well,
I mean, lambic Adrum is pretty special as well.
Seeing as I've only been to 2.
Right. Yeah.
It was my favourite out of the 2.
First adult trip to Belgium.
Yeah. But it was amazing, like world class.
Yeah, it
world
was.
class.
So the other place that we went, so we also had a tour of Bruges, where we met Jasper, one of our Patreons.
Yes.
Who delivered us some delicious beer, and I would say mostly occasionally led us astray, such as the Carapils and Friet.
Was that Jasper's idea? I can't even remember.
I think they conspired against us. Him, his friend who brews at Strom Brewing.
Yeah.
And Owen Walsh, the beer writer, who has replaced Brad on the podcast for one episode when Brad was away.
Owen's great. He's much better.
And
that was lovely. Lovely to see Owen. Lovely to meet Jasper.
Yep.
I just had such a great evening. It was so nice to be amongst friends, new friends, slightly older friends, and very
when
old
you meet
friends.
a beer geek, they never quite feel like old friends because you already have so much in common.
Yes,
Plus,
true.
they listen to this podcast, and one of Jasper's first things was like, I listen to you every week, but you've never listened to me.
Yeah,
so he must have felt like he was caught in a podcast, for which I apologise.
No, it was great. It was honestly great to meet Jasper, and I'm not going to say I enjoyed the Carapils.
That was terrible.
I didn't think it was very good. There were 2 pretty crappy looking chip shops next to each other, and they were raving that one of them was much better than the other one.
Well, it
right?
wasn't the place they wanted to take us.
Oh, was it?
No. It wasn't
right,
one of the
okay.
good ones. It was the tourist trap one.
Okay.
But supposedly, the one on the right, the Friet hut on the right, is better than the Friet hut on the left.
Well, do you know what? I like the cocktail sauce. Who's not going to like that? It's pretty good.
Yeah, they said it was ketchup and mayo mix, but it felt sweeter.
Yeah, there was something else going on.
Yeah, it felt sweeter.
It was good, wasn't it? It was bright pink as well.
Yeah.
Well, maybe not bright pink, but like a sort of quite a blushy pink.
Yeah, it wasn't quite bubblegum. Yeah,
No.
blush.
Yeah.
I like that. Pinot Grigio blush colour. So yeah, had a great time in Bruges. Massive thanks to the people that we saw. Obviously, we didn't do a full video, but we're going to have a YouTube short because we're trendy and we're on point and we're up to date and all these cool words that I can't find.
Should we tell people where we went?
Yeah, go on then. Can you remember?
We went to Bruges first. Well, the Half
The
Man.
Half Man, yeah.
We went. I'm trying to think where we went next. Where did we go after that? Yeah, Duvalorium.
Duvalorium.
Went to Duvalorium, which was actually pretty amazing, to be honest.
Beautifully done, but a bit sterile.
Bit sterile.
But the beer was
The
tasting
view
good.
was incredible.
Yeah, the view is right over the main square.
Yeah, it's like
Le Grand Place.
It's like sort of being in Leicester Square if it had like medieval buildings and shit.
Yeah.
It was like properly tourist town. But the beer was good. They wouldn't give me a glass of water, which I thought was really tight, seeing as it was like 32 degrees.
Brad was very upset.
I think this is a general problem. I'm just going to have a grievance here with Belgian cafe culture. No one will give you a glass of tap water anywhere.
Well, I think in Britain it's a legal requirement, and I think elsewhere it's really not.
It's crazy. It's crazy.
They want you to pay. I mean, to some extent, I sympathise with them in that if you're just going to order water.
But we were ordering
that's pretty
beers, and I
outrageous.
said, we'd
Yeah.
order the beers, and I was
Yeah.
like, can I have a glass of water?
Yeah, I agree.
No, you can't.
I mean, generally, much love to Belgium. The service, except in the Bruges Biertje where we went at the very end,
Yeah, that was great.
which
Yep.
was sensational. The service otherwise was, it was a 1 out of 5 stars on Google level
grumpy.
of service we received. Grumpy, slow, avoided
Yeah.
your eye.
Yeah, it was like we had to sort of like physically wave our hands around a lot.
Yeah, like we were drowning after the Titanic to get
Yeah.
the attention of some people.
Which is weird because
I didn't get my whistle out in the end.
I
But
thought they were famed for this hospitality and the,
maybe it's because we're British and they're just like,
it's hell.
and I can sympathise with that view as well.
I can sympathise with that as well.
Yeah.
We are dicks.
Do you know, weirdly, everybody could tell that we were English on this trip except for the guy at West Valletta who needed to know what language to speak and was incredibly grumpy about it.
That's true.
The irony. I feel like we're at the depths of the deepest bits. I feel like we've slowed down. The air's got... Well, the air's the
It's
same.
got a
We're in
little
a big
bit
train.
colder.
Yeah,
but that's
yeah.
probably the aircon's just
It's finally working.
kicking into the whole sort of thing.
So yeah, so we've done San Bernardus, we did Bruges, we went to Le Trappist, we went to where did we go between Bruges Biertje and the Trappist? Oh, we went to Degas.
We also went to the one with the really nice architectural beer garden. Cinema attached.
Republic, which is
Republic.
more of like a restaurant bar,
Yeah.
but had some nice beer. We had some Delacen there, had a nice garden.
It had a lovely garden.
And then, yeah, we went to Degas because on my triple blind taste test, loads of people were like, you missed the best one, Degas. Now, I did some research into Degas because I'd been told about it before, but I didn't know much about it. It's just a contract brewed beer from the people that make Golden Drac, a famously meh beer. So I tried to keep an open mind, but the beer was phenolic and boozy and very average, and the cheese was very average.
Cheese is average. I like the little Watsy
Yeah, you got little
maze.
puffy what's it things.
Yeah, they were pretty good.
And if that's the best you can say about a bar that's supposed to be serving the best triple in Belgium.
I can tell you the worst thing about that bar: the aggressive orchestral classical music.
It was like at the volume you'd put heavy metal, but it was classical.
It was it was actually maybe a little bit Guantanamo Bay vibes in the way that it was.
Oh, you think it was musical torture?
Yeah, but I mean, it's proven that classical music calms you down, right? They play it in.
Depends on the genre of classical music.
Well, yes, probably, but
That's like saying popular music can't
changes your brain waves. A lot of it has been proven. It improves studying and focusing, all this sort of stuff.
I'll put the references in the description box.
But this was really aggressively loud and quite just generally aggressive classical music.
A discombobulating experience was had at Degas.
Did not enjoy it.
Yeah, and the beer was fine. I got a bottle of it to see if the bottle's better or if we, the classical music played with our brainwaves.
Maybe.
So we'll see. So yeah, then today we went to West Valletta. So I'm writing an article about it for Belgian Smack. We're going to use lots of B-roll and conversations we had in our next Trappist episode, which will be a while, folk. Don't get too excited. And I had all 3 of the beers. Brad was driving, so we had the blonde.
Yes.
Which was great.
Blonde was excellent.
The 8 was even better. Chocolate, licorice, raisins, still a bit frisky and light and drinkable. The 12 was really good, but the highlight was...
It was the beer ice cream. It was incredible.
ice cream.
It was absolutely mind-blowing.
Trappist beer ice cream with squirted cream on top and a wafer.
I don't think it was
in a West
was it
Valletta
squirted cream? It tasted better than squirted
No,
cream.
it was squirted cream.
It was really dense squirted cream.
It was good squirted cream, but it was squirted cream.
I think it might have been one of those pro chef ones where they like load it up into a canister.
No.
So dense. I've never had
no,
squirty
no.
cream that dense.
No. You're giving the monks too much credit there.
The meringue was incredible. I don't really like meringue normally, but it was...
But you've only had
No,
cheap meringue you're talking about.
The
good meringue is crispy and gooey.
Yeah, I like gooey meringue, as I said
that's
off,
what we had.
off pod. But I sort of have this thing of hating meringue historically as a child because I just remember like birds' nest meringues where you bit into them and they're totally dry.
Like chalk, sweet chalk.
Chalk, like nails down a chalkboard vibes on your teeth, which I'm not a fan of.
I don't think anybody's a fan of that.
It's not a good texture.
I think you had some very cheap nests.
What are you saying?
It shouldn't squeak.
What are you saying?
It shouldn't squeak like the steel on a Le Shuttle.
Yeah,
as you eat
squeaky.
meringue. That's bad meringue.
That was bad meringue.
But yeah, so the monks. Well, I guess the monks did make that ice cream. They made the ice cream in the kitchens, but it was made with Trappist beer and presented in a Westphaletteren goblet glass. There's photos all over our social because we couldn't believe it. I sent it to Henok of Omnipoyo. He looked at it, didn't reply. Whatever, Henok. But I mean, he probably gets sent stuff like that all the time. But, did you know these guys doing it?
I mean, that was the ultimate soft serve, really, wasn't it?
Yeah,
to be honest.
pretty much. So Westphaletteren. The thing about Westphaletteren that people don't realise is that it is essentially an OAP hangout. So
Yeah.
I was the youngest person in a beer bar for the first time in years and years and years.
True. I'm gonna agree with
You
you.
were second youngest.
I don't know. I'm not sure. Maybe. I'm a little bit older than you.
I know you're thinking about the waiter who was younger.
Yeah.
But they don't count
No, they don't count.
because they weren't drinking.
What about? Can we talk about what we managed to get, which is not a common thing you're allowed to do?
I don't think we should.
Nah, we won't.
No, I
won't
don't
do
think
that
we
then.
should.
Okay.
I think-
Forget what I just said there. Nothing under the table happened.
But so yeah, we picked up a case of beer for the festival. We picked up the beers for our Trappist episode. Had a lovely lunch. Had a walk up to the grotto
We did.
where we got looked at for taking a photo by a woman eating her lunch in the chapel.
Yeah, she was on a bicycle, and I presume her husband, her life partner, maybe, I don't know.
Could be.
Maybe just a good friend.
Yeah.
They were eating their
Maybe
little
strangers
sandwiches.
just sharing and caring
be.
in the chapel.
Yeah, both staring, sharing, caring, and staring in the chapel. Yeah, they're throwing us some dagger eyes, but then also she went around taking photos after.
Did she?
Yeah.
Oh, we set a precedent.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
She definitely didn't pray, and she didn't buy a candle. You see how much a candle? They were like starting at €5.
And you don't even get to take it away, just to get to light it.
It's a sacrificial
I
candle.
think that's
isn't
what
it?
Martin Luther nailed to the door. It's like, we shouldn't be paying for the right to pray, something like that. I mean, anybody that has any knowledge of theology has probably just spat out their beer. That's probably exactly not what he talks about, but it was something around that. But, I mean, so it was a very peaceful, very nice place. But
Yeah.
as you said, a little bit like bad landscape designer grotto.
Oh, I mean, I've been spoiled by St Bernardus the day before and the morning of, because we stayed there, and that is just world-class architecture. I said to the lovely lady and Marco, who was the head of marketing.
Marco's head of sales. Kelly was head of marketing.
Sorry, Kelly was head of marketing. I said to them both about, does anyone come and film this place? Because it looks incredible. And they had a TV show, I think, coming this week to look at all the architecture of it. And yeah, it's an amazing place. It really is.
Yeah, absolutely magic. But yeah, the Westphaletteren one, like,
Oh, yeah, sorry.
concrete and stones kind of thrown together with Mary crying in various positions, just sort of shoved into the rock.
Yeah. That was the
It was a bit
grotto.
strange.
The grotto. But the even
slash picnic spot.
the restaurant was very bland. I thought
Well, I think that's a bit much.
bland.
It was
Saying bland.
It was
bland design.
it was bland designs.
Bland-
There's the
Blanders in-
follow up to Grand Designs.
Flanders in Flanders.
Okay, that's stronger. I'll allow that one. Yeah, but I mean the food, like we had the Trappist cheese, we had the Trappist
Yeah,
ice cream,
yeah,
we had
yeah.
the beautiful beers.
We had
the
Trappist
garden is very
croque
lovely,
monsieur.
but it was too hot to be outside.
Yeah.
It was like brutally hot today, so we didn't enjoy. I think the best thing about that place, which is the lovely garden, because it was just too much. But yes, we had croque in de vrede, the
Yes, with the special cheese.
Yeah, the
Monk cheese.
signature sandwich.
Oh yeah.
Really into their sandwiches in Belgium.
I've had
Like,
3 cheese toasties in 3 days. I think.
yeah, I think you're underselling some of them, but
Yeah.
some of them were just cheese toasties. Yeah.
Yeah.
You had that one when we had dinner.
Giant.
Dinner with Brendan from Belgian Smack. If you don't know that, amazing website, amazing podcast. And you got delivered like the biggest slice, like literally like a foot long.
It was. I think it was over 12 inches long, Johnny.
Okay.
It was. So if you can imagine like a loaf of Hovis, but uncut.
I think I can imagine that.
And then instead of slicing it the sensible way,
Yeah.
you slice it the long
Yeah.
way, and that was what the format was.
Mm.
But we were with Brendan, and he just insisted
That it was a round loaf.
That it was a
that
round
they were
loaf,
working their way
and
through.
they just used the middle, widest bits of round loaf, which has got to be bullshit.
Well, I mean, he lives in Belgium.
It's definitely bullshit.
He's
an Irishman. He was telling us a tall tale.
Yeah, he lives in Belgium.
He does.
He's experienced round loaves.
Yes. I'm not disputing they have round loaves.
But it feels like you are.
Well, I think that it was so large, Johnny, that it was so sort of regular in shape, like it came out of a square tin, because it didn't slope at the tops.
I just think it's like neither scenario is likely, but I think it's psychopathic to cut a loaf lengthways.
I just want to see the machinery that could do that. Well, presumably you just put it through a cutting machine.
It's a bread knife, but with handles on both ends and two people. You know, like
a
loggers.
lumberjack.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Bread lumberjacks.
Bread lumberjacks.
Maybe that's where
I could see both our brains trying to work out how do we make a joke. How do we make a joke?
Yeah. Yeah.
Loaf lumberjack. Lowland
jack.
No, we're not going to find it.
No, we're not. I think we're approaching the end of the tunnel, Johnny.
No.
You don't think?
We're timing this.
Okay.
We've still got over 10 minutes to go.
Oh, right. They did. It was 26 minutes coming over. It's over half an hour
the
back.
actual tunnel bit, not the whole train
Yeah.
journey. Oh, yeah, maybe. It's possible. Yeah, Brad timed it. That's the kind of man. I think that speaks to who you are quite a bit. It's
Thank you.
Like most people are just like, oh, I wonder how long you're under the water. Brad gets his phone out and times it so he knows the next time.
Yeah, just over 26 minutes.
Yeah,
If anyone's interested.
Right, yeah, there you go. So we've got that Trappist video coming out. Eventually, we've got the St. Bernardus video coming out eventually. Obviously, that article and the beer at the festival. The weather is looking good for the festival, folks. So there will be an announcement about more tickets coming in the next few days. So hold tight for that. We've got people on the waiting list. If you're not on it, please do email us craftbeerboys@gmail.com, and you might be able to join said waiting list and get tickets when we announce. If not, we do have some people that can no longer come, and we'll connect you with those people and get that sorted as well. So don't despair if you want to come and you don't think you're going to get access. It could still happen.
Yeah, we can probably make it happen.
We'll find a way. We should also say we bought another beer for the tastings.
We haven't even got into that. Yeah. Just if anyone's interested, we just hit daylight.
So we've got a matter of minutes. We bought a 6-litre Methuselah.
It is Methuselah, but they said Methuselah.
Must be the Dutch
pronunciation
for it. Yeah.
Yeah, beautiful.
There you go. I mean, never before on this podcast have we had.
We shall be arriving shortly.
Somebody hurry us up. So we're going to return to our vehicle.
Will be carried out once
All right, safety checks, man.
Unloading will not commence
until
a few minutes after arrival.
All right. Thanks, man. Next, we're going to get the French.
We will.
And do not start your engine until unloading begins. Would coach drivers please close sunroofs and vents? Don't forget to put your watches backward 1 hour and to drive on the left after leaving the terminal.
Yeah, that's important.
We hope you've had a pleasant crossing with Eurotunnel, and we look
Well, we
forward
did until
to
you
seeing
piped up.
Again soon.
Alrighty. Guys, we're going to say love and beer. We will see you on Wednesday for an upload, and we'll see lots and lots of you on Saturday next week. And we are so excited. Even so excited, I think I've started hearing French.
Wow. Well, we were.
Well, we were. Love and beer, guys. See you next week. The Bubble and Friday 5pm podcasts are brought to you by the nerds behind YouTube's Craft Beer channel. You can watch over 400 mini documentaries at youtube.com/the Craft Beer channel, and if you love what we do, support us via Patreon and get access to merchandise and our amazing Discord forum, a positive and welcoming space for everyone who loves beer, food and homebrewing. Love and beer.